Hey everyone, it's Will, Gamer Dad, with another video for you. So this video will encompass Chapter 3, which is the last chapter of the Chrono collab, aka Symphony, and again, this is set on Master level. If you want to check out what I did on Chapters 1 and 2, make sure you check my live stream, which was recorded last night. Hopefully it'll give you some tips as to what to expect, difficulty wise, as well as the boss fights in both Chapter 1 and 2. Now in Chapter 3, again, the mobs at Master level are all 110s. There is a new horror in one of the areas at 120, and so definitely recommend using a half bar AF if you can, because just like the first two chapters, the mobs can outspeed your preemptive moves even when you do have preemptive. So keep in mind that they can outspeed that and counter with a preemptive move on their own, in which case you'll get party wiped and it gets really frustrating after some time. Now that being said, we're gathering and making our last preparations on this team to wander through the new and reinvented Tower of Time. And so if you've already played as a beginner and made it to Chapter 13, that is kind of why they want you to do that and kind of explore the Tower of Time before coming to this new alternate version of it. Now, for veterans of the game, you'll know that the Tower of Time is quite the central area for a few different storylines, and I won't do any spoilers here, but you know what I'm talking about. Now, that being said, you'll be able to be led by Deidre all the way to the new Tower of Time, and you'll explore it. I have recorded most of the puzzles and explorations there. And in terms of hidden items, there was just one treasure chest that I found was a little bit hidden. Let me know in comments below if you found any additional hidden items or hidden areas here in the Tower of Time. There is quite a challenging puzzle on the 8th and final floor before you fight the final boss in Chapter 3. And so I did film that as well. Basically, you have a bunch of different items or cards, and you have to kind of manipulate the time such that it unlocks all 12 times on the clock. And then again, that's very similar to the first time we entered the Tower of Time back when we first started the game. Again, I did record all of that, and so hopefully you can learn from a trial and error and unlock all 12 doors, which I did do before tackling the boss. A couple of things to note as well. In a few short moments, I will stop talking and let you watch the rest of the storyline in peace, or my exploration through the Tower of Time. There are some time challenges on each floor where you have to activate a few power supplies spread around each floor, and I did record each of those as well. It's pretty easy. I mean, they're anywhere from 8 to 10 minutes. I don't think I needed more than 2 or 3 minutes to kind of find all the areas to kind of power up the area and move on to the next floor. The main thing is you do have to activate the elevator, because if not, it'll be a long way of walking back up. And so just make sure you do press on the exclamation parts once everything's kind of powered up, because you do have to kind of power up this electronic Tower of Time, and then you'll get to the boss level that way. Now, in terms of the boss itself, again, I will engage with you at that point, so you can fast forward to the end, and you will see my challenge against the master difficulty of the boss. If you haven't already, make sure you like and subscribe to my channel. I really appreciate it. And I also do have a Patreon account for those who want to support me this way. Anyways, thanks for watching, and I'll see you at the boss fight near the end of the video.
るんだわらよ。危なかっただわら。危なかっただわら。危なかっただわら。お、わらしが出ちゃうわら。危なかっただわら。危なかっただわら。 これが定めならば。危なかっただわら。お、わらしが出ちゃうわら。危なかっただわら。薪わら燃えるだわらよ。危なかっただわら。これで今はただ眠りなさい。危なかっただわら。
All right, we're back. So first of all, welcome back for those who have watched the beginning summary to this chapter. This final boss actually has two forms. You do have to fight Vice's embryo first, followed by Link's with no recovery time, and so what you have is what you have. Now, in terms of what I decided to choose, and this is just trial and error, of course, I decided to go with an all-magic team, being that Magic Zone is quite effective against a lot of different weapon types. I at first thought that the enemy would be weak or vulnerable to Crystal, and so I do have A.S. Clark powered up on this team. However, I did find that Crystal wasn't a weak point to the enemy. I don't believe there's any weaknesses or resistances. But that being said, we are using a full Magic Zone team. I do have both A.S. Chio as well as A.S. Rosetta to kind of swap zones, because if you noticed, Vice's embryo can swap to a random elemental zone at the beginning of every turn. And so you can say it's a little bit of RNG, but how I packed it is I decided to go with an all Earth Magic team up front. And if you notice, being that we're in the Another World here, we do have that special zone there, which is on the upper left corner. For every elemental move done, it will kind of fill those fields, and for every field filled in with a certain color, that will enhance that particular element by 70%. And so if you have all three filled with one element, for example, is 210% extra. And if you do a lot of damage, then you end the fight right there and then. I believe that the Vice's embryo does have an HP stopper at 50%. However, with A.S. Clark and powered up by, say, A.S. Chio or A.S. Myris, A.S. Tuva is our dual debuffer. We ended that fight pretty easily and saved our bar for the much more interesting and tough second fight. Now, I will say I did have to retry this a couple of times. And so if you notice, I did do the cutscene, recorded the story, and then you can skip the text if you've lost the first time and re-challenged the boss the second time. So, of course, Lynx is going to try to attempt to thwart us, and we are coming with everything we got. And so, excuse me, I do apologize for using a much more powerful team than I usually use. The problem is that I really didn't know what to expect, and so I decided to pull out all the stops with the, dual Magic Zone wielders, and especially since my recently side-graded A.S. Chio is very effective in both Earth and Magic Zone, we decided to go with that and see what we're up against. Now, this second and more final form, or more final boss, is almost likens to the end of main story part 1. And so I'm not sure if that was on purpose. I can't really say much about Fate and how it relates to Chrono Cross in terms of that supercomputer. However, God or Destiny or not, like Kid says, we're going to slap this one down and hopefully end the boss right there and then. Now again, this is on master difficulty, and once you watch to the end of the video, if you decide to stay all the way, if you beat the master level, you get rewards on all the difficulty levels. So you'll get a reward for beginner, standard, expert, and so on and so forth. And so really, that's really nice. And you, at the very end, if you do finish it on master level, you do get a chant script as well. Okay, so in terms of the Fate and its hands, the hands will counter with something called a magic counter, which basically drains all your MP. That is non-counterable, and it kind of sucks. In terms of targeting the main body, you can see there's the Magic Buster. There you go. The blast doesn't do any physical damage. However, it has a high chance of stunning the enemy, or in this case, stunning your team. And so if you want to equip, MP regen equipment, you can do so. Surprisingly, if you cast Pure Cradle, the regen does not work, and so I'm not sure if that's a glitch or just a characteristic of this fight. Now again, we're going to take advantage of that field of effect where we were using all Earth all the time, and we filled it up with all Earth, being that we did a 2-turn AF. Remember, we saved the AF bar from the first fight, and I highly recommend you do that if you can. And just by launching a large AF, obviously with AS Chio powering it, we have Lunatic Clark AS. We cast a couple of Terre Lumieres to power up all Earth damage for all of our team. And again, we did start off with the Spiritual Utterance to kind of reduce any damage. I will say this boss, more than anything, can't really do any significant fatal hits. More like a lot of status, stunning, draining your MP. Eventually, you can't do anything, and they keep on hitting you for 1,000, 1,500, and you'll eventually die like that. However, if you do activate Lunatic during the AF, and you've already brought it down with a 2-turn large Magic Zone AF, by powering up your Magic Zone either with AS Chio using Horai Jewel or AS Rosetta using Prayer of Judgment, you're going to activate Mind's Eye, which is obviously increases all Magic users' damage depending on their max MP. And so if we have Moon Realm, which helps resist statuses, or Discipline Rings to help increase your max MP, you'll have a large power, especially with Lunatic enhancing AS Clark. One Vodolfnir powered by those effects plus Terra Lumiere and the Field of Effect, 210 extra percent, ended the fight really quickly. So I do recommend a Magic Zone team. I would imagine a Slash team might work. However, I'm not sure if a non-elemental Slash would be better or using an elemental Slash, because if you do use an elemental Slash team such as Fire, I think Fire Slash is probably one of the easiest ones to manage. Although obviously you can lead that, and there's some other team members such as Crest that can do something like that. You'll have the advantage of casting all fire attacks, which will boost that field of effect to 3 fire moves being 210%. However, you do need a dual debuffer, and so something like Renri might work, because she does have a fire type move as a spam move. Otherwise, you can use Judgment to slow things down. Again, let me know in the comments below what team you decide to go with. Hopefully, that fight wasn't too short for you. I know I didn't demonstrate too much of the boss's moves, but like I said, in previous tries, I eventually got worn down. All my frontline units essentially had no MP, no way to recover, and then it would end me either with hits, continual magic counter, and then the stun over and over again. So yeah, a little bit frustrating, but after a few tries, that was done. I would say that the clock puzzle was a lot more annoying, and so again, I hope you caught that earlier part in the video where I showed you my struggles through that puzzle and unlocked all 12 areas. Anyways, again, if you haven't already, make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. It really helps me out a lot. Otherwise, again, I'm going to stop talking now and let you watch the epilogue in peace. Remember that once you finish off this chapter, you will unlock another dungeon for the chapters where you can finally grind out more points to unlock rewards. And not only that, you can actually get light, I believe, for your main characters from the complex dream, aka Chrono Cross. Other than that, you do have the ability to get a new game plus, which means you can replay it and not only add the other unit to your team. In this case, I've gotten Kid already. I will have to add Harley. You'll also get to redo some of those quests that you missed out the first time, being that by diverging the 2 different storylines, you actually have different choices to make different side quests to do. Anyways, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.